Do you mind if we actually start, since you brought up
Please.
New Orleans and music? I mean, you have such a great history.
Yeah.
Can you give a music review of Dr. John's latest work with Black Keys? I mean, you've known Dr. John quite a long time.
You know, I'm not all that familiar with that record. I've listened to a couple tracks, and I've got to go back to it. I'm a little remiss in my music listening this year because I've been doing so much stuff. And but I'm in awe of the guy. You know, I think that he's taken New Orleans music, and especially New Orleans piano music. You know, he took it from the creators and has moved it into the next set of decades, and been remarkably true to it and remarkably prolific in keeping it alive. You know.
What made you want to go out to New Orleans? You lived in New Orleans for a little while, and I mean, what attracted you to that part of the world?
I was doing a movie in Seattle, and friends called up and said they had tickets for Jazz Fest. Did I have a weekend off? And I jumped at it, and because I'd always heard about New Orleans but never been there, and flew down through Dallas, hit Dallas at about 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and then moved on to New Orleans and spent all of a day and a half there and just fell in love with the place. Liked Jazz Fest, but something about New Orleans spoke to me. The people, the weird combination of stuff that's there, you know, and the fact that it doesn't feel like you're in the United States of America. It feels like you've gone to a foreign country without having to use your passport.
Wow, that's really cool.
Can you talk a little bit more about working with Christopher Guest and your relationship with him and kind of the...
We are just good friends. Yeah, Chris and I have known each other for a long time now. I would say that really, I mean, we make each other laugh. We've always made each other laugh. That's sort of the key to, and we are also can have perfectly serious conversations that are interesting to us about all sorts of things, ranging from music to politics to all sorts of stuff. But I think that the key to working with Christopher in the movies is that as a director, he's been able to do something that I'm not really experienced all that much. I mean, I've worked with some very good directors, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but to do that particular kind of work and to do it well, I think what's required is to be able to do something that directors really aren't genetically predisposed to do, because you get into directing because you want to control things. And to do this kind of movie, you have to kind of let go. And you have to kind of let go and trust. And the overarching feeling that you have when you're doing these films is trust. He was being trusted by the studio to do this in the first place. He was trusting us to come up with the performances that would tell the story and be funny. We were trusting each other because we were all scared and, you know, holding hands as we walked the tightrope together. And we were all allowed to trust the audience, that we didn't have to hit them over the head with a joke, that if a joke happened, it would be, you know, this naturally feeling kind of occurrence of stuff, as opposed to, hey, and now here's the funny thing, you're gonna laugh. So that was, to me, that's been always the thing with Chris, you know, almost never says anything. You know, he's not giving you direction. He's not, now with this scene, I want you to do this, and he's not doing that. You read, he knows we can read, and we can read the description of the scene, and we know what the scene is about. And the most memorable direction he ever gave me in one of these movies was in For Your Consideration, which was the last one. And I'm playing an actor, a third-rate Hollywood actor who thinks that there's Oscar buzz about it or something. And he's about to be interviewed by Fred Willard, who is playing a host from Entertainment Tonight or some show like that. And we've all known Freddie for a million years and know what a force of nature he is. So we're about to sit down to shoot the scene. Chris comes over and puts an arm around my shoulder and says 3 words: "Don't even try." You won't get a word in edgewise. Don't worry about it.
Isn't that kind of unnerving?
No,
as an actor, to be given.
It's relaxing.
To think of something or.
No, it's like, he's not standing there thinking, "Where's the jokes, people? I'm paying money's paying." Time is passing. It's very relaxed, and it has to be because we're nervous wrecks inside anyway. Any more pressure and we'd crack, or we'd get artificial, or we'd get zany. And he didn't. The idea is for us not to be zany. The idea is for us to be comically, weirdly real. So that's what that's like.
What's your day-to-day schedule? I mean, you've got
Different every day.
Yeah, but you've also got, it seems like, commitments. I mean, you always have your radio show. You always
But the radio show can fit into anything. I mean, some weeks I don't even think about it until Saturday. Some weeks I'm already, like this week, I'm already writing Tuesday and Wednesday because there's a song I want to do, and it's like I have to sort of urge it out. But yeah, it's always different. I mean, that's one of the things I like about my life is that I like novelty and I like routine. I think most people like both things. I think we get put into pigeonholes where, they like routine, but they like novelty. I mean, I like the idea that my life has these different rhythms, and yet when I was doing this play in London, I was doing a play in the West End of London all summer long. I like nothing better than the idea of, I have my day, and my day is whatever I want my day to be, but it's 6:30, I take a subway to the theater in the same place and do the same play, although it's different every night. And then, that level of routine, I thought, for a limited period of time was wonderful. So, it depends.
Is there a medium you prefer? I mean,
the one that lets me do what I want to do. That's my favorite medium. That one.
Is that because you don't want to be hamstring, or you like the complete freedom? I mean, which side of is it? I don't know how to do a lot of what other people do, and I don't know how to do what a lot of other people might like me to do, but I do know how to do what I want to do. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? It's like, I look at the kind of comedy performances that I don't particularly enjoy, and I think I couldn't do that. I couldn't, if somebody were sitting there, with a whip and a big checkbook, I couldn't do that. But, this Nixon thing, for example, which, I just got it into my head, I'm going to do that. And I knew exactly how to do it. And the lovely thing was that nobody was in my way making me have arguments about it. I just was free to do it because, it takes a lot of mental energy to, memorize all that and keep all that in mind and everything connected with something like that. You don't want to waste mental energies and stupid arguments about, yes, I want the right camera. You just want to do it. And so it being left alone allows you to focus all of your waking mental energy on the task at hand, as opposed to on these distracting side games, which mean nothing to nobody.
Well, how much freedom do you have on The Simpsons? Because you wouldn't be doing it for this long if you didn't have some kind of control over your characters. And
I created the characters. I created the way they sound, but it's a scripted show. I read what they write. And
you have no input at all during.
No, we try. All of us try to protect our characters. You'll find that new writers will come in and write jokes that just don't come out of those people's mouths, and we have to say, he wouldn't say that. Yeah. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But no, television is a writer's medium, and they're not really interested in anything that they didn't write,
Is it impressive, though, that this group has gotten so much respect from maybe the rest of the voice community? Like, when you guys have had your struggles, or you guys want a new contract goes through all the battles, people haven't stepped across the line to try and replace you because they respect you guys.
I just think that's a wonderful testimony to the integrity of the voice acting community. I don't even know if it's about us. I think it's about them. I think it's about, something about the ego state of people in that business as opposed to the people in the on-camera acting business allows them to make that choice. And I never let an opportunity pass to express my admiration and amazement at that in them. But I think it's all about them. I think it's just the people who do. You know, it's a very tiny community. You have to die to get out of it. They work all the time. So I'm not saying it's an easy thing for them to, an easy choice for them to make. But I think that it's about them. It's about they're real mensches, as they say in the business, you know, and I'm utterly in their debt.
I know you're a big basketball guy, play a lot of basketball. You went to UCLA. Do you have any fun, crazy stories of running into any big ball games you've been a part of? I mean, what's your favorite game you've played in?
Oh, well, I went to Magic Johnson basketball camp for grown-ups 3 years running, and so we got to play. There was a big game at the end of each camp where Chick Hearn, the voice of the Lakers, did the commentary, and we got videotapes of that at the end. I've not watched any of those, God knows. But the other perk is that we got during the season on, you know, some shit game that they had that they couldn't draw any fans. They figured they might as well draw us. We'd bring our families, so we got to play a game on the Lakers court in the arena at halftime. I think it was either halftime or right before the game began. But anyway, you know, so that would be my favorite.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anything to wrap up?
Well, I think you look great for your age. Oh my gosh, what is your secret to? Is it true that you're in the robe?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm careful about what I eat.
Yeah.
And I do play basketball. This was this great gift that was given to me when I was 27 years old. I never liked sports. I hated it all during school.
Mm-hmm.
This guy at Warner Brothers Records, where I was, my comedy group was on the label, took me to a basketball game one night, and I'd never seen one before. And then he said, "You like that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Meet me at this playground tomorrow." And he got me into playing basketball.
Wow.
And it was just a huge gift. And I do yoga and swim. But, I mean, yeah, you know. And I don't eat lunch.
At
Only
all?
2 meals a day. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I made that choice just because I like dinner so much that I didn't want to have my appetite spoiled. You know, if I eat lunch, I don't have the appetite for a nice big dinner. But then I read, you know, there's oodles of research on calorie-restricted diets and their effect on longevity. So, you know.
I feel like you like to research a lot. You know, you love the process of researching. I mean, for
I
your
like-
new show and.
Yeah, well, I like to. I guess it's, you know, I was a good student, and that was one thing I was good at, but I didn't like the rest of academic life. I didn't like the way I wrote when I was, you know, having to write theses or anything like that. So I guess I have if not an appetite, at least a capacity for that. But I like to know what I'm talking about. I don't like to just be repeating stuff I've heard without having any kind of, you know, sense that it may actually, as Henry Kissinger once said in another context, may have the added advantage of being true.
Close it with Kissinger, that's awesome. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.